All right, it's 7 o'clock, so we will call the meeting to order and roll call when you're ready.
Barkle.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Kettering.
Here.
Michael said he might not be able to make it. Nelson.
Here.
Weiss.
Here.
All right. Everybody had a chance to go over the minutes from the previous meeting. Unless there's any changes, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Are there any items to be added to the agenda?
No.
All right, then I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We are ready for conflict of interest declarations. We can start with Kathy.
No.
Chris Sparkle, no.
Don Kettering, no.
Matt Evans, no.
Lauren Nelson, no.
And I talked to Dennis and he said he's not gonna make it, so.
That's what I thought.
First agenda item is scheduled for 7:05, so we have a few minutes. Can we move up any of the plats, Bill, or?
Yeah. Do a few of them.
The Lang plat would probably have to wait until
Yep.
after that.
Law plat, we can start with. They just surveyed off another piece and, let's see. Excuse me. Yep. Let's see, how do we do this? Let's go to packet. Make it easier. Let's go down here. This is the law plat, they just surveyed off. Another piece here, meets the minimum requirements, everything else. Minimum acre requirements, I mean.
This is up above the Cottonwood Corral or what?
Yeah, just west of Smoke Road a little bit.
All right, and I guess I didn't read that one in yet. But
Oh, I'll read it. Plat of Tract F Deer Ridge in the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 8, T93 North, R56 West of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Right. Is there anything to add? Nothing special about it?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay. I guess I'd make a motion to approve the plat.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote when you're ready.
Barkle.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Kettering.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
All right.
Wallet plat, I believe, is a homestead, 513. Yep. They've got plenty of acreage around it. It's another pretty straightforward.
And this includes the whole building site and everything.
Yes.
All right. Did you want to read that one in?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Plat of Kelsey's Addition, by the way, don't get used to this, Chris. Plat of Kelsey's Addition in the southeast quarter of Section 20, Township 95 North, Range 57 West of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
I'd make a motion to approve the plat as presented.
Second.
Vote when you're ready.
Barkle.
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Michael is gone. Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
All right. Being 7:05, we'll go on to the first scheduled agenda item. The Washington conditional use permit applicant wishes to have bed and breakfast short-term rentals in an agriculture district per Article 5, Section 507. Said property is legally described as Lot A of Parcel C in Weaverstead's addition, located in the southeast quarter, Section 21, Township 93 North, Range 54 west of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota. According to duly recorded plat thereof in books S13, page 20. 911 address is 44873 River Rat Road, Gayville, South Dakota. All right, is there anybody here to speak on this conditional use permit? Come on up.
I'm Marty Washington. I'm the owner of 44873. I'm also the applicant. We recently bought this property. It is unique in the fact that it has 2 dwellings on the property. It was recently, due to an issue with the variance, that it can only, it's not multifamily. It's not zoned for multifamily. So while it does have 2 dwellings, we don't have a family member that would want to move into that place at this time. We would like for the property to pay for itself if we can, and we'd like to operate a bed and breakfast in that, in the main home, the main house, right as you walk in, or drive in rather. Our idea is short-term rentals in the off-season, which we would kind of determine as like November to March, and maybe for CNAs or traveling nurses, something of that sort. But during the tourism season, we would like to see some shorter-term rentals, maybe kind of the idea of an Airbnb, whether we utilize their service or not. We're thinking probably a minimum of we would like to have a minimum of a 2 to 3 night stay. It's going to be my second job, so I'm going to be the one flipping the rooms. I probably don't want to do that every day. So that's kind of the gist of what our plan is. It is a 3-bedroom home. There is a 2-car garage next to the 3-bedroom home. Provide, I guess with some circumstances for parking, people may be able to utilize that garage. There's also a parking pad in front that would address parking. We have a space for refuse, so that's not an issue for our guests. I don't know, what kind of questions do you guys have?
I guess looking at it, is there, like, there's clear delineation between the property the renters would be allowed to use and like neighboring properties?
Yeah, would it be okay if may I zoom in on that?
I can zoom it in, I'll try no more. Oh,
Yeah,
we got
that's
2 there,
great.
there you go.
Yeah, so this is the main house right here. That's the 2-car garage I was speaking about. If you zoom out, this is our dwelling back here. So it is very clear where you would be able to stay. There is a fence here, there is a fence here, and then the high water line is here. So utilizing a map, it would be very clear for us to show our guests, this is where you can be, this is the neighbor's home, et cetera, et cetera.
Have you had any input from any of the neighbors?
I have 2 of our adjacent neighbors here today. They are here in our support, so they are behind our plan. We have actually lived on that property since 2014, so we have a very good working relationship. On the Johnson land, and the Reich and Merkwan land, we put our snow fence each year when the crops are out and things like that. We assist in plowing snow, so we have a really good working relationship, and they have given us their blessing for the operation.
I guess I don't have any more questions. Anybody else from the board?
I don't have any. support bed and breakfast
Okay.
and the concept. We need to provide tourist attractions at a
That's right.
beautiful area down there, so.
That's right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else from the audience wish to speak on this conditional use permit? Come on up and if you'd state your name for the record.
I'm Leanne Johnson, and the Johnson property runs just adjacent on the north side. And like Marty said, we get along real well, and we work together, and if we got a dilemma, we work together, and I visited with them at length as to what their plans are, and I just think it's a very good idea, and it would be good for the tourist business in Yankton.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience wish to speak?
I'm Gary Merkline. I own the property to the east of their place, and we share a driveway. And all I can say is they're very good neighbors. Anytime we have a problem, which we've seldom had any problems, we just talk it out. So I don't think there'll be any problem. My son runs a bed and breakfast in Vermillion, and I think they're in for a lot more work than they think. But I think I think it'd really be good for the area. I don't know why they have the area zoned along the river as ag, why they don't zone it recreational or something where it'd make it a whole lot easier to do this, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else from the audience wish to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment on this topic. Any other board discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second?
Right, have a motion and a second, so we can vote when you're ready.
Barkle,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
All right. Next item is the Lang conditional use permit. And applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to build a self-storage facility in a lakeside commercial district per Article 11, Section 1107. Said property is legally described as Lot 2A, Bernard Subdivision, County of Yankton, South Dakota, as per plat recorded in Book S19, page 19. 911 address is 3700 West 8th Street, Yankton, South Dakota, and Utica South. Neil, did you want to come up and talk about the CUP?
Yeah, Neil Lang. I got one request before we start. I would like Evans to volunteer to not be involved in this.
I have no problem with your project, Neil.
I
I
just
won't.
assumed you wouldn't be involved in anything I have to do with me.
So, like when we went over with you guys with the conflict of interest sheet that we had, was it last month or whichever before? First of all, I don't have a problem with the project, and two, I'm not going to recuse myself because there's no conflict of interest, I guess.
You're not going to excuse yourself from it?
No, Neil,
Okay.
honestly, I'd like to put everything behind us, I guess.
I think it has to be a vote.
Okay,
Of the
if you folks got
commissioners.
time, I'll give you plenty of reasons why I wouldn't want him involved in this.
And I would appreciate if I could hear those, Neil. Like I said, I don't want any problems. So
The
if you
chair
do,
can request, if he believes there's a conflict of interest, he can request a vote of the remaining members. And if 2/3 of them vote that there's a conflict, then he would have to recuse himself.
And I guess I feel if applicant has some kind of animosity and
so
doesn't feel like it'd be fair hearing on a particular planning commission member's part, I think you have a right to request that, and
I agree, he has a right to request it. But basically, like, I believe this is the whole reason, like, it was the same thing with Ryan the last time. So the conflict of interest sheet was brought up on when and where we should recuse ourselves, and there's no conflict of interest here.
You can call a vote if you believe.
yeah, I guess
So
I would
if you
I'd
do
like to hear the reasons.
meals,
Okay, if you got an hour, well, I'll
Well,
explain.
Make it
we
short,
don't-
please.
We don't need an hour.
Okay. From the second campground I started building, the expense, the headache you put me through, the waste of time and stuff on different deals, getting a lawyer, because just all kinds of stuff there. Okay, the home at Utica, I spent all winter coming into the meetings when you was gonna put a campground right beside our homes. Do you wanna hear more?
Yeah, I'd like to, if there's more.
You wanna hear more?
Sure.
Okay, all winter, here, 3 winters ago, when you bought that ground around Lake Alexis? You remember the headache you put all our 3 neighbors through and everything?
I was just applying for a permit, Neil. Like, I have the right, just like you.
You have a right to, but it was a deal where that was family, that's the reason the neighbors and myself bought our homes, not to have a campground all around it the way it was. And if you didn't respect that at all, just a common person wouldn't do that. A person would not do something like that. And then telling me I can't build that campground because the 3 years was not over. I was doing dirt work.
So what he's talking about here, just so you guys know, when I bought Riken's RV park, there was a stipulation on the land that nobody could build an RV park on it. So he started to build before that was up.
I did dirt work. You
Yeah.
didn't know it was gonna be a
Yeah,
campground or not?
he's correct.
Mr. Lang?
He did start that. I
Mr.
guess.
Lang, I've heard there's enough conflict that I've heard, so, that's all I need.
Okay, thank you.
I guess we can go ahead and vote on it, whether, I guess Matt should recuse himself on this particular topic.
So just so you guys know, if you look through the conflict of interest, it's strictly financial. It's not if you've had a conflict with somebody. And that's why it was sent out a month ago, because people didn't understand. There's no financial, gain from me in this whatsoever. So if you do vote for this, if you do vote yes to have me recuse, I would like the reason why, specifically. Because it's not about conflict, it's about conflict of interest, which is financial, and I have no financial gain in this whatsoever.
I've communicated with the state's attorneys about this, and they were very clear. If you believe there's a conflict of interest, you can take a vote, and if enough commissioners believe there's a conflict, then he has to recuse himself. You don't have to give a reason. If you believe there's a conflict of interest, that's all that matters.
All right, we can go ahead and vote on this.
Barkle,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
No.
Weiss.
No.
Okay, has to be 2/3, so.
All right. So Matt, you are not recused. All right, Neil, if you'd like to present your CUP request.
If I'd like to what? I was thinking about something else here.
Go ahead and present your CUP request.
Explain what you're gonna do.
What are you gonna,
Okay, I have 3 properties out there, and I wanted to combine it all into one, so I had surveyed all 3 properties, and I want to combine it into one property.
Yeah, that's the plat. The reason for the CUP though, if I can find it here, let's see.
the storage facility?
Yes. So, he owns all 3 of these. He's applying for CUP for a storage facility here for his campers. And he's gonna combine these 2 so he can extend the storage building a little further, and he doesn't have to worry about this lot line stopping him. So the storage facility will go right back here. And you said it was for your campers, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And the other property, I wanna combine 1, 2, 3, okay, where that's an old map on where the campers are, all three of them I wanna combine, was survey it out into one deal.
I think your plat only covers these two right now, though. We'll just worry about this one.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is where it goes up. So you'd be basically tucking it back here against the cliff. I don't know if it's really a cliff, but
Just right north of the laser barn.
Yeah, it's pretty much a
there's
cliff.
that connections here. But yeah, this is unusable back here.
Yeah, that's just, no use for that at all.
How big is the facility?
How many units was it, Neil?
It was gonna be 13 units,
Yeah, so it'll
12,
They'll start over here with a setback, and you'll go along here.
And you said it's going to be just for your campers?
pardon?
It's just for your campers to be able to use?
Well, I think I can fill it up with my campers, but I don't wanna be, if there's an empty, stall or site, I don't wanna, if it's empty and somebody else wants to rent it, I'll definitely rent it, but
So, from like where your dirt work is the building will be behind where you did the
Evans,
dirt
you
work?
got rejected. You said you wasn't gonna get involved in it at all. You wouldn't volunteer to step down, but you wasn't gonna get involved in it. So,
I don't remember saying that.
okay, well,
guess,
I'm
but-
not gonna answer
Neil,
your question.
Neil, as a member of the board here, he's allowed to ask you questions about the project, and
Okay.
so,
Neil, please, I don't want to have a problem with you. Like, I want
Well, you
to,
should have thought of that.
if you want me to formally
All the
apologize,
stuff you drugged me through.
I'll formally apologize right now in front of everybody on the internet.
well.
I'm sorry that for what has happened between us. I'm not building a campground at the lake. Like, it's been 2 years since that. That's not happening. I just want to brush it under, please.
So, this is where it goes up, right? The cliff.
Yeah, right.
So he's dug it back into right where the
Okay.
cliff goes down. It's kind of level up there. It's gonna start over here by the setback on this side, and this line will be erased when we do the replat, and it'll extend over to here a little bit.
One of the main reasons I wanted to combine this was, even though you own the property, you gotta have a variance
For the setbacks.
for the setback on both properties. And this way, the storage, it can go even across the other property if it,
Yep.
so, yeah, that's the main reason.
yep, that makes sense.
So it'll make this all one large parcel, and this property line disappears.
Yep.
So in front of the building, will there continue to be like the boat parking and stuff that you still have
Then
there?
I want the laser barn, another reason I wanted to add on to the, east side of that, where now I won't have a variance, have to go through all of that too, so.
So
So
is
on-
that access to the new storage facility, is that gonna be primarily through the laser barn,
Yeah.
driveway there and then straight back?
Right, yeah.
Did you hear me, Neil? Will there still be, will you still use that as boat parking and stuff, in front of it for outdoor boat parking?
Well, if it means me losing this whole deal, why, I guess I'll walk out.
I don't think, is that relevant to this storage?
That has
facility?
nothing to do with me building the storage.
So the reason why I
unit.
asked Bill, just so you know where I'm coming from, like any other outdoor boat parking requires a CUP, correct?
But that's not related to this project. If you have a violation, then you can apply it. That has nothing to do with
Well,
this project.
I'd like to know what's being done with the entire property. If he's saying there's gonna be that, then I would say a fence like any other boat parking, just like we normally do, like,
I think this is why we have a problem. This is not part of his application.
And I
the
guess
use of the property isn't?
I'm not aware of the boat parking you're talking about on there, but I know
So
that
there's,
over on the others, there's a different part of his property that is already being used and has gone through the process for used for parking on other things.
oh, the one that already has a CUP on it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
That part of that already has CUP for parking.
Yeah, so.
I guess I'm not aware of what you're talking about.
That's kind of why I was asking, is all there's, so like right now, there's just boat parking in the front. I don't know how many are there. But there's boat and camper parking there. So like any other person that comes in for boat and camper parking, we put a fence around it, like the one, I forgot his name, kind of over by me. We made him put a fence all the way around his for boat parking, I guess, so. I guess that's what we normally do for outdoor storage. Am I wrong?
This application is not about outdoor storage, it's about a storage facility. You're welcome to file a violation of zoning complaint if you think there's an issue.
Well-
This is why he wanted the recusal, because it goes on to other things that don't
Ed-
conform.
I'd call for the motion. The vote.
Need a motion to approve.
Okay. Let me see here.
See, so Don, just so you know where I'm coming from here. Like when somebody doesn't like what somebody else is saying, it's very sad that they get interrupted with a motion to approve. Like if you want to talk to me about it, Don, I would much rather appreciate that. Like if you disagree with me, I'm just seeing every other boat parking that has, you know, however many boats and campers, I guess, has a fence. Even campgrounds, we put fences around them and they don't even have boats. So that's just my opinion, I guess.
All right. Does anybody have any more questions for Neil? All right. Seeing none. Thanks, Neil. If there's
Thank you.
anybody else from the public wish to comment on this CUP? Seeing none, I will close public comment on the CUP, and it's just board discussion. I guess. I don't know what you're talking about with the boat parking around there, and like, I feel like Bill said that if you think there's a violation, then
So it's
you
not a
should report it.
I'm not talking
if-
about a violation. I'm talking about like the person's plans. So like he has to come in with a plan right now for the entire property, correct? Basically saying
For
what
this,
he's gonna
yeah,
do.
for this storage facility
So I was
he's
just-
applying for.
Yep, so it's not about what he's doing now. It's about what he's going to do in the future. So in his plan, if he's going to do outdoor boat storage, he has to tell us that, okay? And if he doesn't, and within our ordinance, it says if any person is not telling everything about their permit, that their CUP can be revoked.
Right, then you'd be in
Okay.
violation.
Exactly. So
in this,
I just want to know everything that's going on in the project. That's
Okay, but-
all I'm
yeah,
doing.
so in this,
Can I clarify something?
yeah,
You're going back to campgrounds. He's
It's not-
saying,
it's not campgrounds. It's the whole
he's,
ordinance.
you've talked about interrupting. Please don't interrupt me.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
He's applied to put an outdoor storage facility. That's his plan, or excuse me, a storage facility for indoor storage. That's his plan. I think this is why he asked Matt to recuse himself, because the last time in the application, it went into other areas too. The application is for an indoor storage facility for his campers and maybe a few other people to store boats. That's the plan, that's the proposal, that's the application, that's all we should be
and
discussing.
I guess that's what I saw on the application, and that there is no application for a fenced storage facility outdoors, so
Correct, his only plan is for that.
just the building.
So for instance, if he's just doing the outdoor, or if he's not doing any outdoor storage or whatever, if we just say we're not even talking about it, okay? And he does that afterwards and puts the outdoor boat storage out there, it is a potential that his CUP could be revoked because he didn't conceal the entire plan.
We could come back and file for a CUP, but again, I think this is why,
I just want to
If
make
we-
sure all of Neil's bases
there
are
was-
covered, Neil. It's not against you. I just want all the bases to be covered all the way across the board.
If it
Yes.
became an outdoor storage facility without the CUP, then you could file for a violation. And
Which I would not
then it
do
would be
that,
addressed
no
at
ma-
the,
even if this does pass, Neil, I'm not doing that. So just
it
to
would be
let you
addressed
know.
at that time if you had
Okay.
actually operated as an outdoor storage facility.
Okay, I'd just much rather it be brought up now and rather than somebody else coming down the road and then saying, hey, he doesn't have a permit for this, and then he has
Let-
to go through this all over again.
I'd like to remind you, he's come back for 2 modifications, I think, on his other one, because he made a small change to add on to a building. So he's done his due diligence and come back when he's made changes.
Oh, that's up to you guys
Could I,
if you want to pass it that way.
Could I say something here? Evans, I said I was gonna, maybe you didn't hear this, but I said I was gonna add on to the laser barn where I wouldn't have a variance down there too. Why don't you ask what I'm gonna be doing down there too? Cause that's on the property. Same thing as yeah, it is.
Well, I know, but you
Okay,
can,
it's
you
the
can do
same,
with.
same.
Okay, so hold on. So you can do with that building whatever you want, I guess, and unless,
I think we
there's-
should move forward.
Yes, yeah, that's.
Yeah, if you got, it's up to you guys. If you guys want to vote it through, I'm just trying to cover the bases for him because I'm guessing he's going to use it as outdoor storage. If you guys want to pass it and put the risk on him, that's completely up to you. But I'd rather cover the bases myself.
Well,
I'll
you've asked
vote
the
yes either
question,
way.
and we've got some clarification on it, and I guess I'm not in the business of speculating what they might do in the future, so I can only vote on what's being presented tonight.
So like normally, Chris, so like we ask everybody exactly what they're doing with everything. You know
Not
what
in
I'm
this
saying?
depth.
I mean,
Please, like
We
we've
don't do
asked
it in-
him
this is
everything
board
that-
discussion, Bill. Please, man.
I'm the liaison, I can give input if I think it's important. I think
Okay.
we've gone beyond.
Okay, I just want to
It's
talk to
about
Chris.
the storage
Like,
facility.
okay, I just want to talk to Chris about this. You know what I'm saying, Chris? Like, we ask everybody so many specifics. Like, I've spent 3 hours here before on permits for me, just because they want to know
on
the
a more
specifics.
complicated project, it warrants more questions. On a project that is pretty straightforward, and, I mean, there's not much to see here. It's a
Okay,
storage building. He's applying for an indoor storage conditional use permit. And we can see the layout of where the building is going to be. We can see the ingress and egress. We can go through this whole checklist, and there's not really any questions left. If you want to speculate on what he might do on the rest of the property,
So I'm not-
that's not included in this
that's the
application.
thing. I'm not speculating, though. I'm asking him if he's going to do it, and it's a yes or no. So if he says no, then there's obviously no reason to worry about it. And if he says yes, then obviously that's not speculation. That's a fact that he's going to do it.
He may
And
not
we need
know
to have a
yet.
fence.
He
You
may
know?
not know what he's gonna do with it.
And that's
In-
fine. If he doesn't, that's perfectly fine. Yep, I
In the
get it.
future, he could come back and request a conditional use permit
Yep.
to
Okay.
have an outdoor storage facility, and we can consider it at that time. He's come back for several CUPs and modifications, like was stated before, and, I mean, we've seen Neil in here quite a bit going through the process. So I guess I am not worried about Neil doing the right thing and coming in for the permits that are required for what he wants to do.
Okay.
I'd like to add,
And-
he's always called before he does anything to ask what he needs to do.
Okay, so for instance, the only reason why I'm acting different is because the boats and campers are already there, and it doesn't have a CUP for boat and camper storage. That's the only reason why I'm acting different.
Okay, so that's not included in this application, and if you think that there's a problem with that, then you should report it.
I'm not gonna report him.
Then
Well,
it's a
this isn't the
non-issue.
forum to try and get the
Let's
report
move-
through.
let's-
I mean, you gotta go to through the process, through the zoning office.
Yeah,
if
I
you
know
think
I
there's
do,
a
and that's why I'm
violation.
telling you, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, let's
Okay,
move
but you're trying to do it
then.
here.
Okay,
So let's move
let-
on.
yeah.
I'd entertain a motion. Don, you wanted,
I do move.
you moved to
Approve.
Second,
okay, I have a motion and a second. We can go ahead and vote when you're ready.
Barkle,
Yes.
Evans,
yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
have the plat for Neil, that's just combining. Let me get down there. Sorry. Let's try this.
Did you want me to read it in?
I'll do it since I've been doing the rest of them.
All right.
Let's see here. Oh, yeah, he did combine them all. Replat of Tract 1, Langy Addition in the northeast quarter of the northwest quarter, Lot 2A, Bernard subdivision, and the east half of the west half of the northwest quarter, except the north 690 feet and except the highway right-of-way thereof, all in Section 15, Township 93 North, Range 56 West of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota, hereafter to be known as Tract 2, Langy Addition, in the northwest quarter of Section 15, Township 93 North, Range 56 West of the 5th PM, Yankton County, South Dakota.
And that's just combining the 3 lots, like
Yep.
was stated at, for the CUP.
Yep. Cleans everything up.
I'd make a motion to approve the plat.
Second.
Go ahead and we can do a vote when you're ready.
Barkle,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
All right. Motion is approved.
We didn't get through all the rest of the plats though. Give me a second.
No, we got through Law and Wallach.
We got
We have
Auckland,
Ackland.
this is another Section 513 farmstead, homestead. Right here, and then they separated this too.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Neil. Neil, give me a call Monday about the next step.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so they actually have quite a bigger homestead. It's 17.2 acres, and they've got 36 acres here and a bunch left over here, so. Pretty cut and dry.
This is just platting off the building site and
Yep.
house.
Motion to approve the plat.
Second.
Ready for a vote when you are.
Barkle,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
And Shank plat. So Carl bought all the Hatchkey family property out there, and Keith Tolchek, remember, he came in for a CUP for a building. He owns all this property. He's purchasing this piece of property from Carl, which is part of a big piece. So they just surveyed this off. It's moderate density residential, and he's got 8 acres, so everything meshes.
Which one's Keith's original property?
Well, he's got several. He owns this, he's got a bunch here, I think he's got a little bit up here too.
Okay, so it just adjoins on all that stuff too?
Yeah, I think this was for reference, so this is the new piece he's purchasing.
Move approval of the plat.
Second.
All right, go ahead and vote when you're ready.
Barkle,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Kettering,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weiss.
All right, that is all the plats. Is there any public comment? Seeing none.
Can we have board comment?
Sure.
Okay, I just want to figure out this, you know, allowing people or not allowing people to recluse themselves or from this discussion. I feel like I'm voting on a disagreement between people and I don't know what's going on. So it's kind of hard to make a decision because I don't know the history. It's like I'm being told, you know, asked to make a decision. So I mean, is there
It was what was given to us a month ago with the conflict of interest page.
is there a conflict of interest
Yep.
spelled out
Yes,
that we
there-
can look at? So if we have to make that decision.
From state's attorney.
Yep, it was last month or the month before.
But it's not just financial. That
But-
might
Okay,
be what
does
the-
it say that somewhere, Bill?
Matt, but honestly, if you wanted to make it strictly financial, which that's not my reading of it, but if you wanted to make it strictly financial, you can say that you and Neil are direct competitors.
It's
And-
financial advantage to me whatsoever.
You're
And there's
competing
none. This is for a
businesses.
storage
You're a
facility.
direct competitor with
This is a storage facility.
On a campground.
on a campground that,
It's not, at this time, it's not.
It is now.
but
Yeah, after it got platted,
Okay,
it
hold on,
got
hold on.
platted
So
after.
here's
Hold
the,
on.
Matt,
I've been taking a bunch
also,
of,
it doesn't matter even about that specific project with just the fact that Neil owns competing campgrounds. It doesn't matter. You could have animosity towards that and vote a certain way based on that because you guys don't get along or because
So
you-
how do I gain money? You tell me how I gain money. And if there
if
is,
you would shut down a project, say, if I was going to make the argument for Neil, I would say that if you wanted to shut down his project for building this storage facility adjacent to his campgrounds, which is a direct competitor, you would make his campgrounds not as desirable maybe to some campers because there is not available storage space. So maybe then that would benefit you.
I agree.
Okay, so there is an argument to be made, and
Yeah,
if
but
they
if
have
that
that
would've been-
strong of feelings about it, I
if
feel
that
like you
would've
can
been
avoid a
made-
lot of conflict by just recusing yourself.
I'm not gonna do that.
I-
If you would have made that argument, Chris, at the beginning, 100%, I would have recused just like that because that meets the
wanna
conflict of
respond to
interest
your
by the book.
Original question.
Yes.
And this is just me. I'm not saying it's the law or the rules. But if I've got a conflict with another person, I just feel from the integrity side, it's my job to weigh out as I sit here on this board.
Okay, so
And to continue,
What I'm asking is there a copy of the
Yes.
conflict of interest that I could get so that I could read that and so that I have that in my head, that if this comes up again,
I'll ask the state's attorney
Thank
to
you.
provide some
That's
more
all I need.
information.
Yes.
But it goes beyond just financial.
okay, so
That-
Bill,
that-
you can't say this stuff. You cannot say this stuff if it's not in there. Bill, you have said on Ryan Heine's CUP. You
We're not
said,
talking
no,
about
don't
other-
interrupt
no, no.
me, Bill. I didn't interrupt
No.
you, and I apologize before.
We're gonna straighten
On
this
Ryan
out. I
Heine's,
think
we
Don
will.
was
Ryan
right.
Heine's CUP. You even said that you could put conditions on his CUP after the CUP was done. You got to quit misinforming these people, Bill.
I don't,
You,
Matt.
It was the same thing when you said the rules.
Not everything is
weren't
about
in-
your history.
You're
That's the
absolutely
problem.
right, and
So,
it was the same thing
Lauren,
when you
to your
told
question,
those people
Could I get
that
a
they
co-
couldn't do
I'll talk to
that.
the state's attorney and get something for you, but I can guarantee you it's more than just financial.
sure-
But
let me-
it goes to
let
what
me-
Don said. A lot of people would just, out of integrity, step away because they know it's a conflict.
because I just want to make sure that the next time I have to vote on this, that I have something to go by, that I can ask questions or, you know, and make a good, because I felt
Yeah.
like I was making a decision based upon two people and I don't know their history. I have no idea what's gone on between them, you know, or what's happened in the past. You know, being new on the board, I don't know what has been, you know, so it'd be nice just to have a sheet to be able to look at that
I
and
don't know if they
say,
can give you a sheet that tells everything, but.
That's fine,
I'll have-
just-
Maybe I'll just have Deb get a hold of you. I'll get your email to her.
Okay.
And she can maybe explain it a little better.
that would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, is there anything else anybody wants to discuss?
I personally I think it needs to be finished. Obviously, there's something going on between me and Bill. This has been this way for months. I think even before the planning went, I guess. I'd like to somehow figure that out. One of my biggest things is the misinformation, like when it was told that, and I understand it ended up that conditions couldn't be put on the utility substation out at Riverside Acres, but in our ordinance it did say that, and Bill said that it did not. Please
I
don't
said the
interrupt
state's
me.
attorney said that it couldn't.
Go
I've
back
got
to-
the emails if you'd
go
like
back.
to read them.
Okay, so if you go back to the video, Bill said that you could put conditions on a PUD rezone, but you couldn't do it on that. It's happened 3 times now. I'm sorry, Bill, I just don't want any more misinformation.
Okay.
If this does
I'd like to
happen-
speak that I'm not giving information. I'd
Matt.
appreciate if he quit spreading that rumor.
Matt, and actually, I guess this, to go back with the conflict of interest from South Dakota Codified Law, if you want to write it down, the references, South Dakota Codified Law 6-1-17, official prohibited from discussing or voting on an issue if conflict of interest exists. Legal remedy, no county, municipal, or school official may participate in discussing or vote on any issue in which the official has a conflict of interest. Each official shall decide if any potential conflict of interest requires such official to be disqualified from participating in discussion or voting. However, no such official may participate in discussing or vote on an issue if the following circumstances apply. 1, the official has direct pecuniary interest in the matter before the governing body, or at least 2/3 of the governing body votes that the official has an identifiable conflict of interest that should prohibit such official from voting on a specific matter. If an official with a direct pecuniary interest participates in discussion or votes on a matter before the governing body, the legal sole remedy is to invalidate that official's vote. Does not say that it has to be strictly financial.
conflict of interest definition, just so you know, a situation in which concerns aims of 2 different parties are incompatible. Let's see here. A situation in which a person is positive, derive personal benefit from actions or decisions made in their official capacity.
Okay, does it say financial?
Yes. Look at the sheet. Yes, look at the sheet that was just handed to us a
I mean,
month ago.
codified law
Every-
rules.
a month ago. It seriously says in every single definition,
Codified
all
rule
the
would
way
take
down,
precedence.
and it says indirect and direct conflict of interest. There's like 4 definitions, and every single one of them says financial. And we were just handed this, guys, like a month ago. Didn't you guys read this stuff that they gave us, that Bill gave us in hard copy?
I believe state law would probably trump that. So Chris just read state law.
What do you mean? Everything that he just said, conflict of interest, is all, like, it says right in here, position of personal benefit. I have no personal, scratch that. After you said that, then I can see where you're coming from, and I would have recused, okay?
It
But
doesn't
in
say
any
that
other
has to be even a
situation,
financial personal benefit. It could be just because you have a personal dispute with somebody and you're trying to
I disagree.
gain something. Well,
You're
that's
gonna have
not
to
the-
talk. You're gonna have to talk to a lawyer, because I already talked to mine, and he told me that I didn't have to recuse. And I'm pretty sure my lawyer is pretty smart, and they're definitely a lot smarter in law than the people in this room.
Whatever you want to think, Matt.
It's
But-
not think, it's a fact. Like, he's a lawyer. That's what he told me.
Matt, I feel like you're making a lot of these things personal with this, whereas.
So you don't
if he-
think an outdoor boat storage place, if I asked him and he said yes, and I'm not saying he did, if he would have said, I don't know, we'd have moved on, and that's it, because he didn't say yes. But if he would have said yes, we would have required a fence on anybody else.
Man, part of the reason he wanted you to recuse
So
is because
you're not answering
he-
my question, Chris. You would have said yes.
If he would have
correct?
said, if he would have said that he was going to have outdoor storage, then I would say that it's not what he's applying for.
Okay.
So then that would require him to amend his CUP or to take that out or
Yeah,
whatever.
and all I was
But-
looking for was to clear that up.
Mr. Chair, have we adjourned this meeting?
No.
No, we haven't.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All right.
Sad. You guys don't wanna, you wanna continue this?
All in favor?
I get tired of listening to your bullshit. You interrupt me right after I get done. Don, you don't like anything I hear. You need to talk it out with me. You need to talk it out with me. You did. You said motion to approve right when I was in the middle of talking about it. Why don't you talk to me about it, Don? That's why what, Don?
Where are the settings on this thing?
No matter what, after this, I still appreciate your vote, even though you didn't understand. Like,
I don't, yeah, I didn't know.
I still want to thank both you guys for sticking up for me. No matter how you feel right now, I'm sorry that I have to stand up for myself.